Not-Havingness. It's like the bad ex you keep going back to. You keep finding yourself back in that same place. Today I want to talk about habit change, how to change our habits, and what we're actually doing when we're just letting habits run on autopilot. Welcome, fellow Voyagers. Jess here with Odyssey Human. This is a channel where we help you hack through the jungles of consciousness so you can discover the hidden treasures inside of you. My friends, it's all there, ready and waiting to be activated by you, through you, and for you. If that sounds good, please subscribe. We'd love to have you join us here on the channel as we continue to grow. Thank you for being here today with us. Who am I? My name is Jess. I'm a manifestation coach and a neuro-linguistic programming master practitioner, which means I take a very practical approach to this. I want you to live your best life. That is my goal here. So if you would like to work with me and move through some of your old habits, details are in the description box. And I also have a free tool that I offer in every video. Check that out as well. That's also down in the description box for you to grab for yourself and use to reprogram yourself and become any version of yourself you want to be. Let's dive in today. So much of our life is on autopilot. Our brain operates through mental maps. Cutting edge cognitive science is just finding out now that the same neurons that we use to move through our physical environment are the ones that we use to move through our mental environment. So when we think, we're actually mentally navigating. And if you want to think about it in terms of maps, you have a rudimentary map of your physical space, where everything is in position to each other, how you move around, how to get resources. That is hardwired into us, that kind of thinking. But our mental space works the same way. Our mental space, we also have this cognitive map of thoughts and ideas, and there's boundaries and there's walls and there's partitions. There's this definite spatial quality that you can feel to this when you think. If I were to ask you to say to yourself in your mind right now, I am an octopus. Doesn't feel true, right? Doesn't feel real because that's not how you identify. On your mental map, the thought, the identity of I am an octopus is somewhere very far away. It may not even exist. You may have never even considered yourself this. But on our map of the things that we have and we don't have, those places are much more familiar to us. And so what happens is that so many of our choices, so many of the decisions that we make every day are running on autopilot. Our habits, our choices we have put on autopilot. We make them so unconsciously over and over and over again that they are almost invisible to us. And this is really where a lot of manifesting comes in, and we are changing our habits. We are changing where we are going on our mental map, what we believe we have, and then becoming that version of ourselves that has it. You know this, you've heard this a million times. The question is, where are you? Because on our mental maps, we calibrate by location. We calibrate by location. When we are in a particular location on our mental map, we often have emotional and behavioral habits that just automatically, naturally come out as a kind of knee-jerk reaction. And so when we're feeling like a victim and we don't have something, we are going to act like a victim. Our behaviors are going to reflect, again, the location where we are on our mental map. I like to think about it as neighborhoods. There's neighborhoods of like, this is Victimville, this is Shameland, this is Hero Town. There's different neighborhoods and you hang out in certain neighborhoods. You have habits of location on your own mental map. These habits have been influenced by certain factors like how you grew up, your family situation, the culture you grew up in, your professional identity, gender norms, programming from society, your beliefs. All of these things have carved out these versions of you that are automatic responses for wherever you are on your mental map. We calibrate by location. So wherever we are on our mental map, we then have this kind of automatic player. And these versions of us that life has carved out, our lived experience has carved out these versions of us that we automatically deploy in certain areas of our mental map. When you feel like a victim, your first response, what is your natural first response when you feel victimized by something, when you don't have it? What do most people do? They work really hard to get it back. Like, that's what they do. They fight to recover what has been lost. That's most people's response when they are in victim town. It's interesting because most people are very predictable. They have these 4 or 5 major responses that kind of come into play when they are in certain areas of their mental map. If you can think of them like players on a basketball team, they're all sitting on the bench. There's angry you, there's sad you, there's okay you, there's happy you that gets up and shoots a free throw and then sits back down. Yawn, boring, predictable. Your friends and family know exactly what buttons to push to get certain versions of you on that bench to get up and get into the game. The people closest to you know exactly the words to say to trigger certain versions of you. Do you? That's the question. Do you? Are you aware of your own habits? When you look at where you are in life, your outcomes in life come from the choices you make, the decisions you've made. And I know you've heard this a million times on manifesting channels. Just make a decision. Because in really making a decision, that conviction that activates different versions of you. When you decide to be a certain place on your map, then a different avatar of you comes out and you take off on a different trajectory, because the strategies used by each of those versions of you, like I said, when you're in victim mode, when that version of you on the bench is suddenly in the game, they fight, they stomp their feet, they get upset, they get stressed out, they fight really hard to get it back. They try to recover what's lost. Feel familiar? That's what not-havingness is. That's what not-havingness is. It is a form of victim mode that we get stuck in. And so many of us can get stuck in this where we actually assume it's our identity. Like, we forget that we have other versions of us, that we have a happy version, that we have an okay version, that we have a powerful, amazing, juicy, incredible version of us. But are we using it? Are we playing that player on our bench? Look at your day-to-day, the quality of your day-to-day lived experience. And then look at the players on your bench. What emotions are you feeling? Because emotions are a strategy that we learn. Each of those avatars, those versions of you, has different strategies. Like I said, the victim, because they feel that lack, because they feel at a loss, they will fight and try and to recover what has been lost. But you are all versions at all times. You are the space on which all of these potentials are activating. I've talked about in the past videos, the field of terracotta warriors, where you jump into the shoes of different versions of yourself. Like, there's literally an infinite number of versions of yourself when you think about it. But you're only using, you look at your actual lived experience and you look at your bench. Who is on your bench and what are they doing? You can actually sit down and look at the outcomes in your life. Look at the patterns in your life. A great exercise to do is to ask the people closest to you, what versions of me have you seen? The people around you will tell you which versions of you that you are using. They can readily identify them, because from the outside, it's really easy to tell. From the inside, it feels like this continuous stream of, oh, this is me, this is me. We don't often perceive the jumping around on the mental map that happens. It's harder for us to see from the inside out and perceive, wow, you know, one minute I was the angry me, the next minute I was the sad me, the next minute I was victim me. I had an hour today where I felt great and I was in hero mode. We perceive the changes, the contrast in our emotion, the bigger package of what strategies this habit, this version of you is using, is a little easier to tell from the outside. It's a little easier for someone else to be like, do you know that you do this whenever this happens? Have you noticed that? Like, it's so easy for us to tell for someone else. So use that, lean into it. Ask the people around you to help you identify your versions. And knowing that, just like the basketball coach, knowing which versions of you are using, you can then intentionally start to change your habits. And how do we do that? With a really powerful why. A really powerful why. Simon Sinek talks about the why. Find your why. Because You are motivated to respond differently when your why changes, when you really want that job and you really want that person and you really want something. That desire is a powerful motivator. But you know what else is really powerful? I believe any motivation is good motivation, whether it's vain and egotistical or it's pure and desire based, like I just want this person, I want their love, I want to be in a relationship with them. You can also lean into motivation from a place of being sick and tired of where you are. Are you tired of not havingness? Are you tired of playing the victim in this situation? Let that be your why. Let that be your why to start sitting down that player on your bench who is victim mode player, who keeps jumping up and getting in the game every time you think of, let's take the SP example. Every time you think of your specific person that you don't have, the minute something catches your attention about them, you tell that story. Oh, I don't have them. He or she isn't here. I haven't talked to them for this amount of months or years or decades or whatever, or weeks or hours or minutes. And as soon as you tell that story, that player on your bench jumps up and is in the game and is the dominant player. The thing that we have to do is to start being more mindful of who is on the bench, who is playing, and what we're going to do about it. How are we going to manage these players? How are we going to manage these versions? Aren't you tired of not having this? Aren't you tired of that player jumping up and just getting in the game? And then it feels like they've taken control of your body and they're feeling the feelings and they're acting it out and they're running the show. They're running the game. Your creator self, your God self is sitting there as the coach like, I wonder why this isn't going the way I want. Because you're not managing your players. This is what most people do. They move through life on autopilot, having the players, the versions of themselves, get in and get out of the game with so little conscious control because we don't do the introspection. We don't sit down and ask these questions of ourselves. We don't think about, is this getting me what I want? And we stay in these patterns of behavior that go around and around and around and around and around. Check out the third eye video, the all-seeing eye. I talk about that the loop is attention, right? Something catches your attention. So something about, going back to the SP example, something catches your attention about SP. Maybe you see her or his name somewhere. So you caught your attention, you tell the story. Oh, I don't have them. I miss him. I miss her. There's a story. Third one is the habit. That version of you comes out. Victim version of you pops up and feels bad. You feel bad because you saw their name and you're like, I don't have them. Oh, I still don't have them. It's been all this time. Why isn't this working? And then there it is. That player just jumped into your body and inhabited you. So what we do, we're reprogramming ourselves. Manifestation is about reprogramming ourselves. That's what it's about. Interrupting this loop that when something catches our attention about SP, we tell a different story that activates a different player. I know I'm going to be with this person. I know they love me. I know they care about me. Seeing a vision of them smiling at us in our own mind. That changes the habit. If we do that consistently every time our attention gets caught and we tell the story and we form a new habit of telling that story and believing that story and going back to that story and reinforcing, because what our brain does through cognitive bias, we pay attention to the stuff that proves our story right. And then the next time we see that person's name out and about and we think of them, because we have practiced that cycle, a different player on our bench automatically pops up, right? The hopeful one, the optimistic one, the one with havingness, the version who has it, the version who's relaxed and calm and confident about this topic. Havingness jumps up and is in the game and is playing. And then, oh, we get a call from SP. Oh, isn't that interesting? And we just feel better. That's the first sign. We feel better. We're not being dragged down by the emotions, by the strategies of the victim mode version of us, the not having version. Quit going back to not havingness. Quit letting it run on autopilot. Quit just letting that cycle, attention, story, habit play out over and over and over and over and over again. Start managing your team. Manage your team. Reality is coming from you. Reality is coming from you. There is no ultimate truth of like, well, he or she really isn't here. That's not true. That is not true. You are the creator. They're there. You have it right now. But the victimness of not having, you keep going back to like a bad ex. You keep playing out those patterns over and over again. And you're like, why can't I help myself? Because you haven't taken it off autopilot. Take it off autopilot. Take the attention, story, habit loop off autopilot and reprogram yourself. That's it. Your subconscious draws from your programs that are running. That's what you create from. That's why it feels so automatic, because that's your beingness. You've put your beingness, you've automated it. And whatever habits and patterns you've automated, those are the ones that's going to be reflected in your life. You're going to see out those victim mode's eyes. You're going to keep going back to not havingness if you don't reprogram. Reprogram yourself. Grab my free tools. Start doing this for yourself. Start recognizing when you are playing different players on your bench. You can do this. I did this for myself. You can do this by starting to interrupt this pattern of attention, story, habit, attention, story, habit. You start to neutralize those players. When they jump up, you sit them back down on the bench. You're like, our new player is going to get in. Our new star player of havingness. And it may feel weird at first. This is imposter syndrome, is the spatial quality of being somewhere new on your mental map, that you have moved on your mental map. And it's a spatial quality of feeling a little bit out of place, a little bit foreign, a little bit like, I don't know if I should be here, because you're laying down new neural circuitry. You are practicing neuroplasticity in your own mind. This is what we're doing when we're manifesting. Interrupt the loop. Manage the players. You can do this. You're the coach. You're creator. You can make anyone on your bench, you can sit them back down, unless you're letting things run on autopilot. So I know this was helpful to you. Drop a comment below. I'm happy to engage with you, go deeper into this concept. Thanks for watching. Grab the free tools, start using it, start reprogramming yourself and managing your bench. I'll see you in the next video.